another video. Oh my gosh, do I have an absolutely amazing one to share with you all today. I finished reading the brand new Darkstalker Legends graphic novel, which is currently on sale everywhere, and I have a lot of thoughts. This is seriously my favorite illustrated adaptation of the series yet, and I just can't get over how much I love this. I'm going to be completely reviewing the book for y'all here, that way you can know whether or not it's worth buying, and how I feel about where this succeeded the most. You aren't going to want to miss what I have to say, because it gets wild. I'll be splitting this video into two halves, spoiler-free territory, and a segment where I dive into sharing plot points. Though don't worry, I'll make that switch very clear. But before we begin, a huge shout out to my patrons. Darvler95, Thistle, Noobto, Pyrrhia, Avril, Pancake, Gascarada, Adequin, Alex Cleaver, Shadow Hunter, That One Seawing, Moonclaw, Isaac, Iris, and Minecraft Wiz9. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Links to their social medias are in the description down below. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. I'm going to start off by saying this. Please don't compare Mike Holmes and Jake Parker's styles negatively in the comments. I think they're both fantastic creators, and it really is no competition. I've been seeing some super disheartening news on social media lately, and I don't want that here on my channel. Let's enjoy both, or at least keep unkind words to ourselves. I adore the talent of both artists. Okay, it's even hard to put together my thoughts because there are so many. I'll start by saying this. The backgrounds of this graphic novel truly brought me into the world of Pyrrhia. Honestly, they're some of the best I've seen in any adaptation ever. Even spaces like bedrooms, beaches, and classrooms had such magnificent detail poured into them to where I felt like I was actually on the continent. The amount of detail just made me awestruck and allowed me to visualize these settings greater than I ever even did while reading. Seriously, the creativity was wild. Additionally, Jake Parker deserves all the flowers for his unique expression work, poses, and just overall displays of emotions. The way characters were feeling was usually grasped very well, so I was super impressed. It brought you into the scene perfectly. The drama and moments of high stakes just couldn't have been better. The pavilion scene was horrifying, and if you've read the book, you know why. It's always very difficult to take the content of a full-length novel and shorten it to fit an adaptation like this, but honestly, I think the job done very well here. Even some small moments were wedged in and completely fit, without it feeling forced or off-pace. Massive shout out to the colorist here, because that was one consistent praise I kept having while reading. The world looked so visually stunning and beautiful. The colors just popped and brought so much life to every panel, especially those that needed it the most. Just eye candy all around, honestly. I'm obsessed with the character designs, by the way. All the looks for the dragons this is our first time seeing turned out just phenomenal. Even Jake Parker's way of tackling pre-existing designs were fabulous. He put his own spin on them. The POV switching was tackled in such a great way, and always felt so smooth and coming. We also got some of the vivid descriptions of things from the book in the process, which was a perfect touch. I mentioned this in one of my early breakdowns, but the usage of scrolls for the narration text couldn't be better. It's attention to detail like that I love. Everything about this graphic novel just made me totally experience the tragic story of Darkstalker, Clearsight, and Fathom in a completely new light. Getting the chance to see so many massive pieces of WoF history drawn in such an artful and gorgeous manner felt like the biggest treat any fanman could ask for. I really can't recall any kind of complaints I have, honestly, at least not in my immediate reaction. I do think a few expressions, especially those of shock, could be a little off, but nothing ever completely ruined the immersion. It was so easy to just sift through these pages, taking in a tale once lost to time. Before I head into the spoiler zone, I'll answer the question, is it worth it to buy? And to that, I say absolutely. I can tell you with certainty that this is my favorite of the Wings of Fire graphic novels so far. The character design, style, backgrounds, items, coloring, everything. It all stood out to such a shocking degree. If somebody wanted to get started into the world of WoF without beginning on one of the regular books, I'd point them in this direction. It hooks you from the beginning, serving as a faithful retelling with visuals and genius choices that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Each panel seems like a masterpiece of its own you could stare at for eons, so thoughtfully worked on to perfection. Okay, now it's time to dive into spoilers about the content of the book. If you haven't gotten the chance to read Darkstalker yet and want to go into the book or graphic novel free of any look-aheads, now is your time to click off. If you know the plot, you can keep watching. Still here? Well, I'm so glad to keep you around. The scene everybody was wondering about was Arctic's death and how they'd handle it. I mean, it's without a doubt the most gruesome moment in the entirety of the series. Would Scholastic heavily censor this moment? Change it entirely? We all had our questions and guesses, but with the book out, I can tell and show you guys what happens. Darkstalker ordering Arctic to cut out his own tongue was indeed shown on the page, and I was surprised with how graphic it got, honestly. Especially since the Icewing Prince's claws were already coated in blue blood from his foot getting stabbed. When it came down to Arctic's actual death, it was censored, though not as heavily as some fans imagined. We do get to see a blood-soaked Arctic as he's given the command, and his body after the fact, even if it's not a perfect close-up. And for all the scene is unfolding, well, we focus on Darkstalker instead. We see his face and hear Arctic's groans and sealed cries as they start to die down with death. Though it didn't show the precise aspect of the scene many readers were hoping for, I still think it did a good enough job. Honestly, highlighting Darkstalker was a smart choice for the censorship, because it works within storytelling. It just shows us even more of how unsatisfied and disconnected he felt by the act, which shocked him. So, changing the focus in such an eerie way made Darkstalker's emotions and struggle all the more obvious. The only reasonable change I'd make to this moment would be to have one panel of just Arctic's body, even if it was after the fact. They could remove all the organs, sure, but just some way of lingering on his corpse would have fully sealed the chill and unsettling nature of the incident. I think it moved a bit too quickly there for such a huge moment, but obviously that was a higher management decision. The Royal Simming Massacre definitely shocked me with its violence. I didn't think they'd actually go to that mile with it, but they really did. It's intense, and enough so that made my jaw drop. I turned to my brother on the couch and went, "Oh my gosh, they really just did that." Jake did not back down there, and it made the mass death all the more horrifying. Honestly, only reading this graphic novel will do it justice. It's such a blast to get through, and I think I'm going to immediately just start all over again. Seriously, I can't recommend it enough. If Jake Parker ever works on more for this series, such as potentially the Dragon Slayer adaptation, I'll be first in line to check out his work. The WoF graphic novels have been feeding us lately, and I only see it getting more exciting from here. What do you guys think about all this? Have you gotten your copy of the telling of Darkstalker Legends? If not, will you be giving this a read? was your favorite part to see drawn? Let me know down below. My personal favorites were just any of the nice character moments, eerie scenes, and great set piece moments. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.